10 Stoic quotes to live by. 1. The only thing you have control over is your mind, and even then, not always. Epictetus. This quote by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus reflects a fundamental principle of Stoicism, the concept of control and the distinction between things within and outside of our control. Epictetus is conveying the idea that the only true realm where we have significant control is our own mind, our thoughts, and our reactions to external events. This means we have the ability to choose our attitudes, beliefs, and perspectives. We can exercise control over our emotional responses, our interpretations of situations, and the judgments we form about the world around us. However, even this control is not absolute. Epictetus adds the caveat, and even then, not always. This acknowledges the inherent complexity of human nature and the fact that our minds are influenced by a variety of factors, including emotions, biases, and external circumstances. While we can strive to control our minds, there are times when our emotions might get the best of us, leading to irrational or impulsive reactions. The Stoics believe that external events, other people's actions, and many aspects of the world are beyond our control. They taught that trying to control things beyond our sphere of influence would only lead to frustration and anxiety. Instead, they advocated focusing on what is within our control, our own thoughts, beliefs, values, and actions. In essence, Epictetus is urging us to recognize the limits of our control and to invest our efforts in the areas where we can truly make a difference, our own inner world. By practicing mindfulness, self-awareness, and rational thinking, we can navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom, equanimity, and resilience. This quote serves as a reminder to take responsibility for our thoughts and reactions, while also accepting the inevitability of some aspects of life being beyond our control. 2. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. This quote by Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, emphasizes the profound connection between our thoughts and our overall happiness in life. Let's break it down. The happiness of your life. Marcus Aurelius is referring to the general state of well-being and contentment that we seek to achieve throughout our lives. This happiness encompasses emotional, mental, and even spiritual aspects of our existence. Depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Here, he suggests that the quality of our thoughts, rather than external circumstances, plays a pivotal role in determining our happiness. This means that our interpretations, attitudes, and perceptions are crucial factors in shaping our overall sense of happiness. In essence, Marcus Aurelius is advocating for the idea that our happiness is not solely determined by external events, but rather by how we choose to perceive and interpret those events. It's a call to cultivate a mindful and intentional approach to our thoughts. The quote reflects a key Stoic principle that emphasizes the importance of maintaining control over one's internal reactions to external events. Stoicism teaches that we may not have control over everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond to those events. By cultivating a disciplined and rational mindset, we can choose to focus on positive and constructive thoughts, even in the face of challenges. This idea also aligns with modern psychological concepts such as cognitive behavioral therapy, which emphasizes the role of thoughts in influencing emotions and behaviors. By being aware of our thoughts and working to reframe negative or unhelpful patterns, we can indeed enhance our overall happiness and well-being. In summary, Marcus Aurelius's quote encourages us to recognize the power of our thoughts in shaping our happiness. It's a reminder that our mental perspective can profoundly influence our experiences and the quality of our lives. 3. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. This quote by Marcus Aurelius reflects a core Stoic principle about personal character and virtuous living. In this part of the quote, Marcus Aurelius is advising us to avoid spending excessive time debating or speculating about the theoretical qualities or traits that define a good or virtuous person. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on practical philosophy, And Marcus is suggesting that pondering the theoretical aspects of goodness without applying those principles in our lives is unproductive. B1. This is the crux of the message. Marcus Aurelius is urging us to shift our focus from theoretical discussions to practical action. Instead of merely debating or speculating about what makes someone virtuous or good, he encourages us to embody those qualities ourselves. In other words, he's suggesting that we should live our lives in a way that aligns with the virtues and qualities we admire in others. Overall, this quote emphasizes the Stoic idea that philosophy is not just an intellectual exercise, but a way of life. It's not enough to discuss or define virtue. We must actively cultivate and practice it in our daily actions. By doing so, we become the good man or virtuous individual we might otherwise spend our time debating about. 4. It does not matter what you bear, but how you bear it. Seneca. This quote by Seneca carries a profound message about our perspective on challenges and difficulties in life. In this quote, Seneca is highlighting the importance of our attitude and response to the burdens and challenges we face, rather than the specific nature of those challenges themselves. Focus on attitude. Seneca suggests that the nature of the burden or challenge isn't the most critical factor. What truly matters is how we approach and carry that burden. Our attitude, mindset, and emotional response are what ultimately shape our experience. Shift of perspective. This quote encourages us to reframe our perspective on challenges. Instead of fixating on the weight or difficulty of what we're dealing with, we should direct our attention to the manner in which we handle it. This shift in focus empowers us to navigate challenges with resilience, adaptability, and grace. Personal agency. Seneca's wisdom underscores our capacity to choose our response to adversity. We may not always have control over external circumstances, but we have control over our reactions and the meaning we assign to challenges. By choosing a constructive and positive approach, we can better manage difficulties. Virtue and character. Stoicism places great emphasis on virtue and character development. Seneca's quote aligns with this philosophy by suggesting that the true measure of our character lies in how we face adversity. Demonstrating courage, wisdom, and patience while bearing challenges is an embodiment of virtue. Universal applicability. This quote transcends specific situations. Whether the challenge is a personal setback, a difficult relationship, or a larger societal issue, the principle remains the same. Our response to the challenge defines our experience and contributes to our personal growth. In essence, Seneca's quote encourages us to shift our focus from the external circumstances themselves to the internal qualities we cultivate when facing challenges. It invites us to harness our inner strength, resilience, and virtue to bear life's burdens in a way that enhances our character and well-being. 5. He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive. Seneca. This quote by Seneca holds a profound message about the impact of fearing death on our ability to live a meaningful and courageous life. Seneca is drawing attention to the paralyzing effect that the fear of death can have on a person's actions and choices in life. Here's a breakdown of the key insights from this quote. Fear as a limiting force. Seneca suggests that fear, particularly the fear of death, can be a potent inhibitor. When we are preoccupied with the idea of death and consumed by fear, we become hesitant, cautious, and avoidant of taking risks or pursuing ambitious endeavors. This fear holds us back from achieving our full potential. Value of courage. Seneca's use of the term, "worthy of a man who is alive," highlights the Stoic value of courage and virtuous action. Stoicism places great importance on living in accordance with reason and virtue, even in the face of adversity. Seneca is implying that a person who lives in constant fear of death is unlikely to engage in actions that reflect true courage and virtue. Embracing life fully. The quote encourages us to embrace life with a sense of vitality and purpose. Seneca is urging us to recognize that the awareness of our mortality can actually motivate us to make the most of our time on Earth. This perspective encourages us to seize opportunities, push our boundaries, and pursue worthwhile goals without being hindered by the fear of death. Focus on the present. Seneca's message aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on the present moment. By relinquishing the grip of the fear of death, we can better channel our energy and attention into the present tasks, relationships, and experiences that contribute to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Legacy and impact. The quote implies that a life lived without succumbing to the fear of death can lead to actions and achievements that leave a lasting legacy. Such a life is marked by deeds that inspire others and contribute positively to society. In essence, Seneca is advocating for a mindset shift. Rather than allowing the fear of death to paralyze us, we should acknowledge our mortality as a motivator to live life courageously, purposefully, and authentically. By doing so, we not only honor the value of our existence, but also make a meaningful impact on the world around us. 6. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. This quote by Marcus Aurelius encapsulates a central Stoic principle and highlights the profound connection between happiness, contentment, and our internal perspective. Here's a detailed elaboration of its meaning. Simplicity and contentment. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes that the key to a happy life doesn't lie in accumulating material possessions or external circumstances. Rather, happiness can be achieved with very little. This echoes the Stoic belief in living a life of simplicity and contentment, freeing ourselves from the endless pursuit of external goods. Inner control. The quote underscores the Stoic understanding that true happiness isn't dependent on external factors but resides within us. While we can't control external events, we can control our reactions, attitudes, and thoughts. Our internal state of mind is where the power to find happiness lies. Mindset matters. Our happiness isn't determined by external circumstances, but by our interpretation of those circumstances. Marcus Aurelius suggests that the lens through which we view the world shapes our experience. Cultivating a positive and constructive mindset enables us to find happiness even in challenging situations. Responsibility for happiness. The quote encourages us to take responsibility for our own happiness. Instead of relying on external factors to dictate how we feel, we can choose to shape our own emotional state through mindful and intentional thinking. Personal transformation. This idea ties into Stoicism's emphasis on personal transformation and virtue. By cultivating qualities like resilience, gratitude, and wisdom in our thinking, we can navigate life's challenges more skillfully and find contentment within ourselves. Freedom from external attachment. The quote suggests that if we place our happiness solely on external conditions, we become vulnerable to their unpredictability. However, by anchoring our well-being in our internal mindset, we gain a sense of stability and independence from external fluctuations. Universal applicability. This principle applies across various life situations and cultures. It's a timeless truth that speaks to the universal nature of human experience. In essence, Marcus Aurelius' quote reminds us that happiness isn't something to be sought outside of ourselves. It's a quality that we can nurture within through the power of our thoughts and attitudes. By recognizing our ability to control our perspective and cultivating a positive mindset, we can find enduring happiness regardless of life's circumstances. 7. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. This quote by Marcus Aurelius is a powerful reminder of the Stoic perspective on how our thoughts and perceptions influence our emotional responses to external events. Let's break it down in detail. Marcus Aurelius is emphasizing that the source of our distress or pain when faced with external events is not inherent in those events themselves. Instead, it stems from how we perceive and evaluate those events. He's suggesting that our initial reaction to a situation is often colored by our subjective judgments and interpretations. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Here, Marcus Aurelius is highlighting a key Stoic principle: the power of our own rationality and control over our thoughts. He's reminding us that we possess the ability to change our perceptions and judgments about external circumstances. We can consciously choose to alter our perspective and reactions by reevaluating our initial estimations of the situation. In a more detailed breakdown, external events versus interpretation, the quote separates external events, things that happen, from our interpretation of those events. Marcus Aurelius is suggesting that the distress we feel isn't directly caused by the external event itself, but by the way we perceive and judge it. Subjective evaluation. Our minds tend to attach value judgments to events. For instance, we might label something as bad, unfair, or upsetting. These evaluations contribute to our emotional responses, often intensifying our distress. The power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius asserts that we have the power to alter our perspective and judgments. We can challenge our initial emotional reactions by reconsidering the situation from a more rational and balanced viewpoint. Cultivating emotional resilience. Stoicism teaches that through reason and practice, we can develop emotional resilience. By recognizing that our judgments are not objective truths but interpretations, we can learn to manage our reactions and minimize unnecessary suffering. Freedom from external influence. This quote highlights our capacity to detach our emotional well-being from external circumstances. By understanding that we can choose how we perceive events, we can gain a sense of control and inner peace. In essence, Marcus Aurelius is urging us to recognize the power of our minds in shaping our emotional responses. This quote encourages us to practice mindfulness, rationality, and self-awareness, enabling us to navigate external challenges with greater equanimity and control over our emotions. 8. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Marcus Aurelius. This quote by Marcus Aurelius captures a fundamental Stoic principle related to how we perceive and respond to external events. Let's explore its deeper meaning. Agency and perception. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes our ability to choose how we perceive and interpret events. He suggests that instead of automatically reacting with a sense of harm or injury, we can actively choose not to perceive ourselves as harmed. This highlights the Stoic belief in our capacity to exercise control over our thoughts and reactions. Inner resilience. The quote implies that by cultivating inner resilience and a strong sense of self, we can insulate ourselves from the negative emotional impact of external circumstances. Stoicism encourages us to build a psychological fortress that shields us from being easily wounded by events beyond our control. Emotional detachment. Stoicism advocates for emotional detachment from external outcomes. By not allowing external events to disturb our inner tranquility, we reduce our vulnerability to emotional turmoil. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions but rather choosing how to respond to them. Perceived harm versus real harm. Marcus Aurelius points out the distinction between actual harm and our perception of harm. He suggests that feeling harmed is often a result of our interpretation of events rather than the events themselves. This aligns with the Stoic idea that our judgments and beliefs contribute significantly to our emotional responses. Power of mindset. The quote underscores the power of mindset and perspective in shaping our experiences. If we choose to interpret events in a way that doesn't frame them as harmful, we can spare ourselves unnecessary suffering. This is not to deny the existence of challenges but to redefine how we interact with them. Freedom from external control. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what's within our control. By choosing not to be harmed, we assert our autonomy over our emotional states, regardless of what's happening externally. This internal locus of control empowers us to navigate life's challenges with a sense of mastery. In essence, Marcus Aurelius's quote encourages us to recognize our ability to influence our emotional responses by consciously choosing how we interpret events. It's a call to cultivate a resilient and empowered mindset that enables us to navigate life's ups and downs without unnecessary distress. By reframing our perception of harm, we gain a greater sense of control over our emotional well-being. 9. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. This quote encapsulates a fundamental concept in Stoic philosophy, highlighting the relationship between our values, control, and peace of mind. External versus internal. Epictetus draws our attention to a distinction between two categories: things that are within our control and things that are beyond our control. External events, circumstances, and the actions of others fall into the latter category, while our thoughts, attitudes, and choices belong to the former. Value and attachment. The quote speaks to our emotional attachment and valuation of external factors. When we place a high value on things beyond our control, such as recognition, wealth, or others' opinions, we create a sense of dependency and vulnerability. This attachment can lead to anxiety, frustration, and a sense of powerlessness if these external factors don't align with our desires. Diminished control. By investing our emotions and happiness in external factors, we inadvertently surrender control over our well-being to circumstances beyond our influence. We can't directly control how others behave or what situations arise, so when our happiness is contingent on these factors, we find ourselves at the mercy of the unpredictable. Inner peace and freedom. Epictetus' insight implies that the key to maintaining control and inner peace lies in shifting our focus to the things we can control: our thoughts, actions, and responses. By placing more value on our own virtue, resilience, and ethical choices, we detach ourselves from the roller coaster of external events. Embracing the present moment. Stoicism encourages us to fully embrace the present moment and accept things as they are, rather than longing for or dreading outcomes that are beyond our control. This acceptance allows us to redirect our energy toward constructive efforts and self-improvement. Personal responsibility. Valuing and prioritizing our internal qualities puts the responsibility for our well-being squarely in our hands. It empowers us to shape our character, respond to challenges with wisdom, and make choices aligned with our values. In essence, Epictetus is reminding us that our inner peace and sense of control are closely tied to where we invest our emotional energy and what we hold dear. By valuing our internal qualities and focusing on what's within our control, we gain mastery over our reactions and cultivate a resilient, tranquil, and virtuous existence, irrespective of the external circumstances. 10. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Seneca. This quote by Seneca conveys the idea that overcoming challenges and difficulties carries a special sense of accomplishment and honor. Valor in adversity. Seneca is highlighting the inherent value and significance of facing substantial challenges. The greater the difficulty we encounter, the more remarkable it becomes when we successfully overcome it. This perspective emphasizes the virtue of courage and the strength required to confront and conquer formidable obstacles. Elevation of achievement. The quote implies that our achievements are most remarkable when achieved under the weight of adversity. Overcoming significant hurdles adds depth and richness to our accomplishments. It's a recognition that achievement becomes more meaningful when it's earned through dedication, resilience, and perseverance. Personal growth and transformation. Difficulties often test our limits, forcing us to dig deep within ourselves for strength and solutions. Successfully surmounting these challenges leads to personal growth, self-discovery, and an expanded sense of capability. It's through adversity that we often find untapped reservoirs of strength and resilience. Inspiration and role models. The act of conquering challenges can inspire others. People often look up to those who have faced and overcome difficulties, viewing them as role models who exemplify the virtues of determination, persistence, and tenacity. This can create a positive ripple effect, encouraging others to face their own challenges with courage. Cultivation of virtues. Stoicism, the philosophy Seneca adhered to, places a strong emphasis on virtue and character development. This quote aligns with that philosophy, as it suggests that challenging situations provide an opportunity to practice and embody virtues such as courage, patience, and resilience. Shift in perspective. Rather than viewing difficulties solely as obstacles, this quote invites us to see them as platforms for growth and personal triumph. It encourages us to reframe challenges as opportunities to rise above and distinguish ourselves. In essence, Seneca's quote encourages us to embrace challenges as stepping stones to personal development, accomplishment, and honor. It reminds us that the path to success is often paved with difficulties, but it's our ability to surmount them that truly defines our journey and the value of our achievements. These quotes encapsulate key Stoic principles that emphasize self-control, resilience, and focusing on what's within our control. Which tip caught your attention the most? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content designed to fuel your creativity and positivity. Until next time, stay positive and keep embracing the wonders of your hard work. Stay happy, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Check out my website in the description below to see what I'm writing. Peace.